Hey, it's Violet, your audio obsessed DLC, and I am creating this tutorial today for teachers who want to do a podcast as an assignment or a project, but don't know where to start. Canva created this really cool resource called the 6-minute podcast template. And if the kids follow this, they should have a 4 to 6 minute episode by the time they're done. It's really nifty because it's fill in the blank and very self explanatory for the kids. So if you look at section 1, you'll see that it gives them all the prompts, their name, the podcast name, the episode title, the format, whether they're doing it solo, they're interviewing someone, or they're having a panel. The boxes on the left side with the text are the instructions and the script that they can use. Anytime you see a music note, it indicates that there should be a music clip there. Obviously not required, but it does make the episode stronger usually. When it comes to those music snippets, I just suggest that you select pieces from the same music piece or the same song, unless there is a chaotic theme to your episode, in which case you could use different songs for the intro, the transitions, and the outro. Otherwise, I would say stick to one piece of music. So it's great because it gives you the script and the topics, as well as some suggested openers and hooks. So you could start by welcoming them back. You could start by saying, today we're exploring, etc., etc. The second section, they go more into the hook. So if you are giving an informative solo episode, you might, have a question hook. Did you know that humpback whales make the most amount of sounds? I don't know if that's true. Or really, they work for any of the formats, the question, the story, or the problem. Underneath that, you'll see some pro tips and some engagement boosters, which help. And then at the bottom of section 2, you'll see that there's a transition with some music notes. So that would be a good time to have a music break, but not required. Then you go on to the main discussion, where the script is to go over your main point, your supporting details, your examples, your data, maybe some quotes or some more experience, and then another transition. Section 4 is the deeper dive, where you really get to the meat of your episode. This template says 1 to 2 minutes, which is great for a 4 to 6 minute episode, but this section could totally go longer if they intend to create a longer episode. So the solo might share more about their topic. The interviewer would introduce their guest and then begin the questioning. Or if it's a panel discussion, introduce the topic and then start discussing. On that note, right now I have 2 mics in my office, so I could easily facilitate a solo or an interview podcast recording. If you have a student who wants to do a panel discussion, I can easily get more mics. I would love to have a whole week's notice. That way I can work with the kids on their content and their scripts. But I understand that's not always how it works. If the kids could at least give me 24 hours notice, that way I can have everything set up for them when they're ready to record that next day, that would be awesome. But then also, if you don't have time even to send them to me, they can record these sections on their phones. I also have some mics that they can connect to their phones to capture better quality audio if they are using their iPhones. So that could be something you send them to me for as well. 24 hours is still better notice because some of this gear I have at home that's my personal gear, so I could bring here. Okay, so after the deeper dive is the transition, the final transition. And then that takes you into the outro. So with that final transition, you might start the music and close up the episode and then keep the music going as you sign off. And that's basically it for the podcast template. They also have this really cool technical setup checklist that walks the kids through the best way to prepare, like finding a quiet space, having a recording in progress sign on your door, which I need for my office. Checking the battery level of your device because recording does use a lot of juice. Different recording methods. Of course, they suggest all of Canva's recording methods, which I think is cool that they have those as a new feature. How to name your file so you can find it easily, and how to do an audio check so that you don't record for 5 minutes and then find out it was never capturing audio. Don't ask me how I know the pain of that situation. I was thinking of creating some podcast design labs for the kids. I was thinking to do it at lunch, but I have been told that kids don't like to give up their lunch, so I'm still brainstorming it. But I would love to create a workshop that's for the students on podcasting. So even if they don't get assignments in their class, but they have a personal interest, then I can facilitate that As always, if you have questions, there's my email. My office is room A161 at Santa Fe High School, and my extension is 2979. If you need more resources, the links in my email signature allow you to make an appointment with me. They send you to my Padlet resource hub. You just have to be logged into Padlet or it will block you from entering. And my DLC website. Those are all repositories for all of these tutorials that I make for you, as well as my YouTube channel. So it's a bit redundant, but I try to make it as accessible as possible. And I hope this helped. Thank you.